welcome to Clearview News Desk. We're reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. First, the headlines. Nigerian Senate suspends action on tax reform bills. Namibia gets first female president. Nigeria's former president Goodluck Jonathan's campaign posters litter strategic locations in Kano, raises speculation about his potential return to politics in 2027. I am Gloria Atta with these and more. Welcome. The Nigerian Senate has suspended action on the tax reform bills and constituted an ad hoc committee that would engage with the federal government to resolve the contentious areas in the bills before further legislative action. Barau Jibrin, the Deputy Senate President, who presided over plenary this Wednesday, announced that the committee will be chaired by Abba Moro, Minority Leader. Jibrin said the committee will hold a forum with stakeholders, including the Attorney General of the Federation, to address all areas of disagreement and ensure interests of parties are addressed before any other action will be taken. Members of the committee include Mohammed Tahir Mongonu, representing Northeast, Adamu Aliero, representing Northwest, Orji Uzokalu, representing Southeast, Seriake Dixon, representing South-South, Titus Zam, representing North Central, Abdullahi Yahaya, Chairman, Committee on National Planning, Adeola Solomon, Chairman, Senate Committee on Appropriations, Sani Musa, Chairman, Senate Committee on Finance, Tokumbo Abiru, Chairman, Senate Committee on Banking, and the entire leadership. Meanwhile, erudite prophet Primate Ayodele has cautioned that the new tax reform may not yield the desired results, citing potential frustration from the people and corruption.
Then we'll talk about this tax reform. This tax reform, the government must look into it. Otherwise, the tax reform is not going to take a serious decision. It's not going to give the people what the people want. The tax reform might not last. It's a good thing. But the people who are going to frustrate it, they just want to frustrate it for no reason. They just want to frustrate it because one way or the other, the tax reforms is going to help the government. But I see corruption. I see that there will be some illegalities, and I see that the tax reforms will not even last. It's a good project, but the factors that will affect it, they'll begin to discuss about it in order to frustrate this. I want to advise the president that they should do a kind of orientation programs before they take off, so that it will not collapse.
Now, a group known as Team New Nigeria, TNN, has plastered campaign posters for former President Goodluck Jonathan across strategic locations in Kano State, sparking speculation about his potential return to politics in 2027. The group, led by Modibo Yakubu Farakwai, recently inaugurated a Kano State Harmonization Committee to advance its agenda. However, it remains unclear if Jonathan has endorsed the group's activities, as his spokesperson, Okechukwu Eze, could not be reached for comment. Speaking to journalists in Kano, Farakwai said the group was motivated by a growing public demand for a fresh political direction, adding that Nigerians want a transformation in the culture and efficacy of governance at all levels. The group also boasted of having 26,382,000 registered voters nationwide and is actively working to register as a political party. According to Farakwai, the TNN will provide not only an alternative government, but an alternative culture of governance rooted in the ideals of democracy. He further explained that the group has developed a flag, a logo, a name, a constitution, and a manifesto, and has engaged with the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to formalize the registration of TNN as a political party. The development is similar to a situation in 2022 when supporters reportedly purchased nomination forms for Jonathan under the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) to participate in the party's primaries ahead of the 2023 presidential election. However, Jonathan, who lost the 2015 election to APC's Muhammadu Buhari, ultimately disassociated himself from the bid. The move by the supporters had followed a judgment by a federal high court in Bayelsa State, which held that Jonathan was eligible to run for the presidency again, stating that no retroactive law could prevent his candidacy, despite having been sworn in twice as president. Now to the foreign scene, Namibia's ruling SWAPO party was declared winner Tuesday of last week's disputed elections, ushering in the Southern African country's first woman president after a disputed vote that the main opposition has already said it does not recognize. Vice President Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah took just over 57% of ballots, followed by the candidate for the main opposition, Independent Patriots for Change, with 25.5%. The election authority announced. Nandi Ndaitwah, 72, becomes the first woman to rule the mineral-rich Southern African country that has been governed by the Southwest Africa People's Organization since independence from apartheid South Africa in 1990. The November 27 election was a test of SWAPO's 34-year grip on power, with the IPC attracting some support from younger generations more concerned by unemployment and inequality than loyalty to liberation-era parties. And back home in Nigeria, over 100 persons have successfully been trained in fashion design, makeup, gele tying, shoe and bag making, barbing, and information communication technology skills in the 2024 cycle of the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association, the Power Skills Acquisition Program. The beneficiaries are now set for business. Speaking at the graduation ceremony of Batch 17 of the training, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, who was a special guest at the event, emphasized the importance of empowering citizens, especially youths, as a very crucial step in putting an end to the lingering insecurity affecting the country. Let's now join Clearview's correspondent for details. It is no longer news that Nigeria, Africa's most populous black country, with a population estimated at over 200 million, suffers a high rate of unemployment and underemployment, especially among its vibrant youth population, which stands at a staggering 20 million. Over the years, reports have shown that the growing unemployment has led to increased poverty, which in turn fuels the already existing issue of insecurity in the country. As part of efforts geared towards rewriting the narrative, the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association, DEPOA, has trained women and youths within the barracks community on various vocational and entrepreneurial skills to enable them to become self-sufficient and active contributors to national development. In his remarks, the special guest of honor and Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, commended DEPOA for the gesture, noting that the initiative will touch lives and make a difference as it aligns with the Armed Forces' non-kinetic campaigns against different forms of criminalities bedeviling the nation.
This is a way of reaching out to especially starting the charity begins at home, starting from the barrack community to be able to empower them. We believe if we make them employers of labor, it will make a great difference. For us, security-wise, once people can feed themselves, they live happily, the issue of insecurity will reduce. And so that's why we want to urge and continue to support my beautiful wife in ensuring that these opportunities at least are presented for those who don't have. and it make a lot of difference for them. This is the third edition. We're going to continue as long as we're here. Parents should learn that it is not only academic works that will scale you through. The new world order requires that people must learn additional skills, because those skills make a lot of difference. Like I mentioned earlier, employment opportunities are not always there, but if you are skillful and you're able to use that as an opportunity, it will open doors to you to also employ others and give them opportunity to also look after themselves.
So we introduced farming, and which will scale up in our next next session, and they will also introduce bag making. And when we went through the exhibition, you saw the beautiful bags that they made. So those are some of the new ones, and we're also looking to add other aspects of the culinary arts so that it will be a full and a complete training session for them. I told them to make good use of that opportunity, make sure that next time we're going to call them back here to also see. We are following them up. We already have them on database, so we are looking at all that they are doing, and we are encouraging them to put in their best and make sure that by next session they are already making money and also employing other people to learn under them.
Beneficiaries of the program, while expressing gratitude, expressed optimism that the lessons learned will go a long way in helping them become self-sufficient as they navigate through life's challenges.
Indeed, it's a wonderful and a great day, and I'm so delighted to be part of the graduate of the Power Skills Acquisition. Indeed, it's a great one. I want to say a big thanks to Mommy Dipowa for this great opportunity. I learned makeup and gele, so it will be of great impact to me and to others, though. At least I can use this one to raise funds and many other things.
I learned bag making. We produce bags of various types, like souvenirs, school bags, traveling bags, and other things. That's what we have. And hopefully, I am really say this is a great opportunity for me. You know, as being a graduate, looking for work here and here, I believe skill acquisition is one of the best.
Highlight of the event was the distribution of certificates and starter packs to beneficiaries, which consist of relevant items to enable them start their trade. The event concluded with a tour of the exhibition of products made by the graduates. In commemoration of the International Day of Disability, Plan International, in collaboration with Catholic Relief Funds, Christian Aid Nigeria and Oxfam, has organized an event to provide a platform for young people with disabilities to share their challenges and advocate for their rights. Cleview's Florence Joshua, who was at the event, tells us more.
According to the Nigerian Population Commission, approximately 9.6% of Nigeria's population, which translates to about 19 million people, live with disabilities. However, the president of the Network for the Advancement of People with Disability estimated around 27.3 million Nigerians, roughly 14% of the population, live with disabilities. The event, aimed at creating a safe space for young people with disabilities, featured keynote speakers who highlighted the major challenges faced by people with disabilities in Nigeria. The speakers emphasized the need for government intervention to address these challenges and ensure inclusivity and accessibility to equal rights for all.
Decided to bring in together young people with disability to come and share their worries, their concern, using the arts world to explain to the world that there is need for them to be included in programs, processes, and what organizations and government is doing. They should be remembered when policies are being developed and even implemented. They should be on the table, same as people that are not with a disability.
Currently in Nigeria, we're looking at, when we talk about inclusion feels as if it's like just putting a droplet of water in a big ocean, where when you're having a program, you just bring like one or two persons with disability just for them to say, oh, we were inclusive. It's beyond that. You have a building in your office, or you have an organization that does not even hire a person with disability, is one of the challenges as well. You're looking at it from that point that, oh, they cannot give you the services that you think a person without disability can give. I've actually engaged with a lot of persons with disability. They are very intelligent beings. So I, for one, from my knowledge that I gain as an inclusion expert, I see beyond the disability. I see the person first. I see what that person can bring to the table without me also looking at, oh, because this person's ability, it might not be able. So that's assumption. So why don't you give that person that chance to be able to prove themselves?
Just hearing the figures that were rolled out by Chinelu, 35 million Nigerians with one form of disability or the other. And to think that these were the most recent figures in 2023, and that's a marked increase from 2020 when we had about 27 million Nigerians. So a lot needs to be done to amplify the voices of persons with disabilities. We are happy to have the opportunity, for this space to listen to those voices, to share in the opportunity to advance more inclusive outcomes.
The event provides an opportunity for young people with disabilities to share their experiences and demand action from the government to address the barriers of accessing education, healthcare, and employment for people with disability.
I think that persons with disabilities can do this, or, oh, I think art can do this for persons with disabilities, and why don't we find a place for them to connect? So that was where this program started from. We started from disability inclusion and then closing that gap, because honestly there's a gap, if I'm being honest. A lot of my friends do not even understand what disability inclusion is. So as much as they even try to be inclusive, they can't fully be inclusive. So why not have a space where we can all communicate, play, and create?
One thing the government can do, really, they've made a very beautiful law for persons with disabilities. So implementation is where I think the government would try to improve, like making roads more accessible for the blind, for those on wheelchairs, those with crutches, and every other form of disability. Making the roads accessible, making the libraries, the banks, and every other public places more accessible, and Nigerian Orientation Agency, that's NOAA, should also do more in terms of awareness, creating awareness, helping people to know the disability and how persons with disabilities can be respected and loved, helping them to understand that disability is not a limitation, it is not a disease that should be avoided. Rather, persons with disabilities are equally humans that should be respected, loved, and given their rights.
Organizers of the event have made a passionate appeal to the government to implement policies and programs that promote inclusivity and accessibility to equal rights for people living with disabilities, and to ensure that their rights are protected and respected. Florence Joshua reporting for Clearview News Desk.
The Nigeria Interreligious Council, NIREC, has converged traditional and religious leaders from various states on its fourth quarter meeting to further amplify its voice on issues relating to development, nation building, and peaceful coexistence of all, regardless of tribe and religious affiliation in the country. In their separate remarks at the event with the theme, Our Natural Resources and Insecurity in Nigeria, the Sultan of Sokoto and President of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Muhammadu Sa'ad Abubakar III, and President of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Archbishop Daniel Oko, the leaders lamented the economic state of the country, despite being blessed with natural and human resources, which seem to have become a source of pain rather than blessings due to the negative impact caused by insecurity. Clearview News, Imefono Kon has the details.
Stakeholders have lamented the unfortunate situation where banditry has become a lucrative business even for some traditional rulers and security agents, leading to a continuous strain of insecurity in the country. Speaking about the mixture of treasure and pain, the Sultan of Sokoto and President of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Mamadou Sahad Abubakar III, and President of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Archbishop Daniel Oko, who are co-chair of NAREC, noted that Nigeria's challenge is a paradox that is akin to the music of Bob Marley that says, "In the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty."
We are called to be the voice of the voiceless, to advocate for equitable resource distribution, and to promote peace and reconciliation among our communities. It is imperative that we use our positions to address the level of wickedness that manifests in the lack of transparency and accountability, impunity, and outright organized theft of our commonwealth by calling for accountability and strengthening of the justice system in Nigeria to punish all criminal acts that undermine our national security, peace, unity, and development.
We know the pains everybody is going through. We know it's not easy, but Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make things easy, because no matter what hardship anybody is going through, ease will come. Things will come and things will be better. Let's continue tightening our belts and keep on praying and believing that Almighty, who brought us into the world, will never allow us to suffer. If you see anybody suffering, he makes it himself. What we need to do, go back to God, back to our various worship places, pray for our leaders, pray for our country, and be good. Because if you can't pray and you continue to be bad, I think God will accept your prayers. We have to change our habits, we have to change our side, we have to change all the bad things in our heads, in our minds, and continue to believe that, yes, Almighty Allah is never wrong in bringing us together, and He does what He wants to do at what time He wants to do, and to everybody, to anybody, at the time He wants.
In his remarks, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, spoke on the potential link between Nigeria's rich natural resources, particularly solid minerals, oil, and the country's insecurity.
I want us to look at insecurity from a wider perspective. That was why I said, is it the existence of natural resources that generate insecurity? And I said no. Boko Haram started not because of natural resources, existence of natural resources. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are always on such occasion try to appeal to you to continue to have hope in the Nigerian project. Those of you gathered here today, religious leaders, notable religious leaders, what you tell us as citizens, we listen to. Not all Nigerians are bad. The number that is bad may be just a very small one. So don't be tired of talking to us, including the bad ones.
The Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammadu Sahad Abubakar, therefore called on stakeholders for a continuous effort towards peace and stability of Nigeria, while encouraging everyone to stay hopeful despite the challenges facing the country. The monarch also reminded Nigerians that material possessions are temporary and should be shared with others.
If you are just joining us, you're watching the news on Clearview News Desk. We will be back after this break. Stay with us.
We break the news.
This is Christ Embassy.
Recollect, we were the first to break this. Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf of Kano State has approved the appointment of 3 second-class emirs. And this?
Erasmus is the most successful program of the European Union to support education and youth.
And this?
Fubara is not an ungrateful person.
And more.
Tension is currently mounting in Rivers State. The planned arraignment of Yaya Bello.
Across our platforms. Subscribe now and you will be receiving our notifications and never left out. As the news breaks on Clearview.
Welcome back. The Nigeria Police Force has announced the suspension of 4 officers implicated in the theft of 43.16 million from a total of 74.95 million naira recovered during an unauthorized arrest at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. The force spokesperson, Muyiwa Adejobi, in a statement on Wednesday, disclosed that the officers, DSP Peter Ejike, Inspector Ekende Edwin, Inspector Esther Okafor, and Sergeant Talabi Kayode, all attached to Zone 7 headquarters, were found guilty of conspiring to tamper with exhibits, abuse of office, and other acts of misconduct. According to Adejobi, the officers led by Inspector Okafor under DSP Ejike's directive arrested Andrew Eja, an employee of Fatfat Cargo Nigeria Limited, who was transporting the cash on behalf of clients in August 2023. The officers were alleged to have reported only 31.79 million naira as the recovered amount, concealing the remaining 43.16 million naira. Following a petition by the owners of the money, the case was escalated to the IGP monitoring unit. Adejobi said investigations revealed that the officers conspired to steal part of the cash and attempted to hide their tracks by claiming technical issues with evidence and spreading false narratives. And that's the news. But before we go, a recap of the top stories. Nigerian Senate has suspended action on the tax reform bills and constituted an ad hoc committee to engage with the federal government to resolve the contentious areas in the bills. Namibia's ruling SWAPO party has been declared winner of last week Tuesday's disputed elections, ushering in the country's first woman president. We also told you that a group known as Team New Nigeria has plastered campaign posters for former President Goodluck Jonathan across strategic locations in Kano State, sparking speculation about his potential return to politics in 2027. You can follow up on latest events and happenings around you via our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Clearview News Desk, or via our handle on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Clearview Online. Many thanks for joining us. I am Gloria Atta. Bye for now.